Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Sorare 26. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Sorare 26. It has been a while since I've uploaded a video on this channel. Today guys, we are going to be starting a brand new series, completely different to any ones of the ones that I've done before, and it is called Decisive Decisions, and I actually can't wait for this one. This series is based on our favourite thing in Sorare, and that's a decisive, but it's also focused on the negative side of it, which is a negative decisive. Obviously not as common for goalkeepers anymore with removing the free negative decisives, but nonetheless, it's going to make for an exciting couple of weeks. I say couple of weeks, it's a 38-week season. Let's go. So the rules for this are pretty simple. This year, there's two things we are focusing on, and everyone else is focusing on. That is streaks, and once again, I'm going to say the word again, you're going to hear it a lot throughout this season, but that is a decisive. If we get a positive decisive, so a goal, assist, a last man tackle, we're going to be adding £10 to the budget that we can spend. But not only that, if we hit a streak in a game week, we are also going to add £10 to the budget. But we're not going to stop right there because that would be boring. We're also going to have a negative side to it. So if any of my players hit a negative decisive in a lined up team, then we will be spinning a wheel. Also, likewise, if we fail to hit a streak in any given week, even if we're going for the top ones, we will be spinning that wheel as well, and I think we should have a look at it. So guys, in front of you is the wheel. We've currently got 7 things on there. I'd love for you guys to put down below in the comments if there's anything else you think I should add to this wheel if we get that negative decisive or don't hit a streak. Currently, we have a 1 game week suspension. This means the last player that I purchased in the game week before this, the negative decisive or me not hitting a streak happened, we will not be able to use them for that game week, and we'll have to wait for the next weekend, which could be really annoying if we manage to hit some great cash one weekend and then we can't even use that player. The second one is lose £5. Third is lose £10 because obviously we get £10. We don't always want to lose all of it. We still want to be able to buy and progress and try and build as many teams as we can. The fourth one, been pretty nice to myself here, and that will be no forfeit. And then a fun one for you guys, the guys that interact in the comments down below. If we hit giveaway £5 card, I'll buy a £5 card of your guys' choice, or maybe I'll choose. Or the 7th one will give away the £10 card that could have been used to buy myself a player. So before we get into showing you guys the players, I wanted to show you just a bit of proof that I have deposited £100 onto this account. It's a brand new account. Before anyone says anything, Sorare have approved it. They're absolutely fine with me doing it, and it's been whitelisted, so there's no problems. I'm not cheating the game. However, currently, if you sign up to Sorare right now and you're a new user, you do get £100 in free market credits. So I can't not use this. You have to use it every time you bid on auctions or buy a player. Well, not from the open market, but every time you bid on the auctions to win a player, it does use your market credits. I don't think there's a way to not use them. So we are kind of starting with a £200 budget, but I've only put £100 on, so I hope you guys kind of understand that. And this is open to anyone, any new Sorare players. So I thought, why not utilize it? So let's get into the players that we've bought. So one of the aims for myself for this series is last year I pretty much just entered, all the competitions. I entered Premier League, Bundesliga, Champion, and La Liga. They're the 4 leagues I focused on. We don't have Champion in season anymore. So, there's only those 3 main leagues that I know quite a lot about football-wise. When it comes to the Belgium League, the Dutch League, I don't know much about it, but that is going to be one of the best elements of this series for me. I want to use this series to show you guys how you can maximize value from this game. Obviously, I've with an added benefit to myself, adding the £10 for a decisive. But I want to show you the best way you can get value, some of the best cards you can pick up. And I also want to learn other leagues, learn the different players they are. So we're going to be using everything from the free spin wheels, be using auctions to get more tickets. We'll be using the missions, the daily challenges, and of course we're going to be utilizing streaks in the way we know best, which is just playing the game of Sorare. So to start off, I'm not going to lie, I've been pretty boring. I've gone with the league I know best, and I've spent all of the £100 budget. I'll show you my tracker in a moment, which breaks down the cost for each of those players, because obviously 50% is took off with the market credits. So the first purchase we've picked up, I think the best way to do this, because it's all Premier League, we're going to go by position. So the first position is goalkeeper, and we picked up Matt Sells as our first purchase. Obviously couldn't use market credits for him. That's why you can see in the bottom left corner we still have £33 left, because Bernd Leno and Matt Sells, unfortunately I couldn't get the in-season versions. And with the ability for you to be able to use classic cards, this is just one of the ways I'm trying to maximise value with playing this new Sorare 26. One of the other ways I'll show you later when I do the lineup building is the extra 2% and extra 4% you can get with not having more than 2 players from one club and also having a lineup that is capped to 60. So Bernd Leno, one of the best goalkeepers last season. Obviously Fulham aren't one of the teams that keeps clean sheets all the time, but they do concede a lot of shots. There's no negative decisive anymore, so hopefully with his shot-stopping ability and making loads of saves in a game, he can just pick me up that 50 to 60 points on the games he doesn't get a clean sheet. And the same goes for Sells. Nottingham Forest have one of the best first 5 fixtures out of all the teams in the Premier League, so there's a high chance of a clean sheet. And also Nottingham Forest this year, you know, who knows how they're going to do. Last season they were great, so fingers crossed Matt Sells can also pick me up some huge scores. Moving into the defenders, I wanted to go for wing-backs, full-backs, that's the one. I wanted to go for full-backs to, you know, maximise trying to get the decisives, because you've got to remember, although I want the best players, I also need players that are going to get decisives, and wingers are more likely to do that. I've said wingers again, I meant full-backs. So the first purchase I went out and got was Nico Williams, solid season last year. Hopefully he can reciprocate it this year. Reciprocate it? Repeat it. Oh, I forgot how to speak. You can tell I haven't done YouTube in a while. The next one is Tino Livramento, another outstanding player in the back end of last season for Newcastle. And fingers crossed he can pick me up some decisives. And then the last one isn't a winger, but why do I keep saying winger? Isn't a fullback, but it's Joachim Andersen, the centre-back from Fulham. Obviously, I've got 2 players to pair with a goalkeeper because that's just how I like to play the game. I like to have a defender and a goalkeeper from the same team. Going into midfield, we've got Lucas Paqueta, who was one of my more expensive players that I used the budget on. I believe he's on penalties for West Ham, and I believe he has take set pieces. I can't remember that well because I don't watch many West Ham games. And the similar goes for Youri Tielemans, who was by far and away my most expensive player. But this guy can get decisives. He can score long shots. He can score from close. You know, he's one of those marquee players that hopefully is going to pick me up a decisive this weekend. Hard game against Newcastle, but fingers crossed he can pull through. And then the final player I bought was Kamara. Plays alongside Youri Tielemans. And I just thought for that value, I was running low on cash. I thought it was an absolute steal, so we added him into the gallery. And then finally, to finish off, the guys that are going to be hopefully picking me up the most decisives. Minter, last season, insane for Brighton. I was surprised he didn't transfer anywhere else. Hopefully he can stay injury-free this season and do really well for Brighton. The second one is Callum Hudson-Odoi. I've absolutely loved this player ever since he played for Chelsea, although didn't get much game time. And he did quite well for Nottingham Forest last season. Obviously, with them losing their other winger, fingers crossed Callum Hudson-Odoi can have more involvement, can pick up some goals here and there, and even assists whipping the ball in, because he actually is a winger. And then the last one, another player who I'm surprised stayed at Bournemouth is Semenyo. Really, really good player, can score goals, can cross a ball in, and I feel like he's going to be one of the biggest players for Bournemouth this season. All of these players were, compared to, you know, your likes of Haaland, Palmer, Saka, I know 2 of those, no, they're all forwards now. You know, you're paying £100 to £150 for those players. These guys are £20 to £14. And in my opinion, they are probably some of the best players you can get in this value range. I had a look at all of the teams, and for me, these were the best ones. So if we have a look at how we've lined them up, our main team, our best team, we've gone for Matt Sells in goal against Brentford with Nico Williams in defence. Then we've gone for Youri Tielemans, obviously my most expensive player, the player I expect the most from, and we have made him our captain. Then we have Minter up top, and a second midfielder of Lucas Paqueta. Has a pretty nice game, I think it's against Sunderland. We're in with this team. One of the greatest things about it is we've managed to get the cap 260 because we managed to stay under that for an extra 4%. And the multi-club staying under 2 players gets us another 2%. So on top of the bonuses that they already have, which is about 5 to 6%. We're going to get another 6% on that. So we're looking at 12% extra, which for me seems pretty insane, and I'm pretty happy about that. Obviously, we would like to finish in the cash. Top 250, we can get $10. Do I think I'm going to finish there out of 10,000 entrants? Probably not, but we just want to settle around Division 2. If we get in Division 1 with any of these lineups, I'd actually love that, because they're not the best players, they're not the marquee players. So if I manage to get into Division 1 with either of these lineups, I'm going to be playing against the top players. So if they have a stinker, then it's more likely my bang average team with a couple of star players can pull through and actually win some bigger cash in Division 1. Going into team number 2, we have Bernd Leno in goal. Joachim Andersen, because we bought 11 players, is the one that won't be playing. We've gone for Livramento instead. Pretty nice fixture against Aston Villa. There could be goals in it. Obviously away. I'm now starting to think it's not a pretty nice fixture. With how my players and the games fell, they didn't really suit me for the first game week, but fingers crossed we can still somehow hit that 360 for $25. Gone for Kamara in midfield, just because we wanted to put Paqueta in the best team. Hudson-Odoi up top, once again against Brentford. Not a bad game. And then Semenyo against Liverpool, which is in a couple of hours' time. I can't see anything happening there, but for future weeks, I really fancy this pick. So guys, that is about it for Decisive Decisions episode 1. I'm going to be putting these out on Wednesday and Thursday, depending on my schedule, but probably more likely to be Thursday every week. Because you guys aren't going to see the rewards I get until next Thursday, at the end of every single one of these episodes, I want you guys to tell me what league I should focus on next. We may not be able to buy a full team, but we need to work our way towards getting those teams. And then, it's kind of an effect. Once we have 3 teams, more chance of getting decisives. Once we have 4, 5, and then when we get towards Christmas, we should have a decent amount of teams. And then that's when the fun can really start, and we can start buying some top players and seeing what we can do in all of the competitions. Premier League, we've already got 2 teams for. League 1, La Liga, Bundesliga. There's no point buying these teams, I don't believe. If we look at it, the cost with what we're actually going to be able to win in the first couple of weeks is just not likely. So we'll be buying like 1 player at a time. Whereas Contender, Challenger, Jupiler and Eredivisie are definitely more affordable. So let me know in the comments down below, out of those 4 leagues, which one you think I should focus on next. And if you do, leave a comment, please let me know which player you think is an absolute bargain for, let's say, £3, £4, £5 that you think I should pick up to focus on that competition. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on the weekend where we're going to be crafting 15 players on the Essence Wheel, thanks to, absolutely racking up tickets on my main account. I can't wait to see how this series plays out, and I'll see you guys soon.